pop on and do this really fun tag. I recently saw Alison do this tag, and it just seemed like so me. It's called the Perfect Palette Tag, and there are 8 questions about eyeshadow palettes and makeup palettes in general. So let's get to it. The first question is best packaging. Now this is a bit of a tricky one because palettes tend to be, especially holiday ones and stuff, they tend to be very emphasised on the packaging and kind of bits and bobs and, you know, glitter and drawers, and especially some of the Urban Decay ones from a few years back, you know, they're very big and chunky. So the best packaging, I think, from the palettes that I have and I've seen is the kind of zippered style cases. These two in particular are by Urban Decay. I'm not sure off the top of my head of any other makeup companies that have come out with zippered palettes, but I'm sure there are. I think the Lorac unzipped is a zippered palette, so yeah. I just think these are the best ones really because they're kind of chunky enough not to cause any damage to the eyeshadows inside if you're travelling with them, and they're just very easy to use. They're very compact. This one in particular is the Feminine palette from Urban Decay. They're just kind of throw in your bag, appropriate. Not too much, not too bulky, and they tend to be fabric, and this one in particular is the Smoked palette from Urban Decay. They're just kind of easy to transport and travel with. So this one is the Smoked palette. So the zippered styles I think are really, really nice, and they don't tend to show as much wear as the some of the other palettes. The next question is best colour payoff. Now, any Urban Decay eyeshadow palette is a go for me, and these Sealer ones are absolutely phenomenal, but I did pick the Vice too because I think the pigmentation of these shadows is beautiful. If I just show you very quickly. Really lovely. There's some beautiful shadows in here, gorgeous. I adore Stash, which is this kind of dark green here. What's the other one? Damaged, which is another kind of emerald. The browns in it are beautiful. There's lots of different textures and just lots of, I don't know, just lots of different kind of styles you can produce with these shadows, and they definitely, Urban Decay definitely give the best colour payoff. But in terms of palettes for kind of all-in-one, I think the Vice 2 is definitely my pick for that. The next question is most versatile, and this is very difficult because I tend to kind of mix and match my palettes, my eyeshadow palettes when I'm using them, but I went for the Steal It in the Garden palette. Purely because for me I think this is the most versatile one. It does have 2 matte shades, and it has some beautiful jewel tones. It also has some kind of everyday shades, some golds, some sages, and of course, as I said, the jewel tones, the blues, the purples, excuse me, like a really beautiful mossy colour, but you also get your matte. So I think for me this is the most versatile because you can really play it down if you just want to do a simple eye, or you can really add some colour. So the Steal It in the Garden palette is definitely, I think, one of the most versatile palettes I own. It's beautiful. The next question is best for travel, and that would have to be the Urban Decay Shattered Face Case. It looks like this. This is best for travel because it's very compact. Obviously it's plastic, so it's less likely to, if it gets a whack, it's less likely to damage the stuff inside, and because you have everything you need. You have your lip, glossy lip crayon there, a little mini travel size 24/7 glider pencil. You can switch these 2 things out if you already have one in your collection from Urban Decay that will fit in here. You don't have to keep these particular 2 products in here all the time. You get your 4 eyeshadows. You get a matte one, which is a lovely highlight colour. You get kind of an all over lid colour, something to deepen it up within the crease. You get a really nice purple and a beautiful gunmetal. So I like those shadows. But the other reason I like this, and it's best for travel, is because you also get your blushes and your highlighter. So I really think it's just perfect for travel because there's everything there, and you get 2 great mirrors in it as well. So I like that from Urban Decay. It's the Shattered Face Case. Fantastic for travel because it's all you really need. The next question is biggest regret, and thankfully I don't have one. I don't have any regrets about any of the palettes that I have. They all serve a purpose, they're all unique in their own way, and I do try and use all of them as much as I can, and every time I open a palette that I haven't used for a little while, it's like, oh, it's really exciting. So I don't have a regret for the palettes because I love them all and I do try to use them all, and it's like discovering brand new makeup every time you open a palette that you haven't used for a while, so I don't have a regret, thankfully. The next question is the palette with the best colour names. Now it's going to have to be an Urban Decay one because they are the majority of my palettes, and because Urban Decay's names are pretty cool. So this is the Urban Decay 15th anniversary palette. It's very chunky and I'm always terrified of dropping it every time I open it, but it is like a collector's edition, so it fits a purpose. It's fallout off there. And I just think these, for best colour names, they're some of the best that Urban Decay have done, I think. You get Deep End, which is this beautiful blue down here. Evidence, which is the one above it. Chase. You see Omen, Half Truth. Missing in Action, Junk Show. You get some really cool names in there, and of course these were all new and exclusive to this palette when it came out, so they were kind of brand new names as well to go along with the brand new eyeshadow. So that is the 15th anniversary palette. The next question is least used, and that would probably be the Midnight Emergency kit from Urban Decay, which was released a couple of Christmases ago. The reason that it is the least used out of my palettes is because all the shades in it, bar one, are very, very glittery. So it looks like this. We've got Midnight Cowboy, Midnight Rodeo, Midnight 15. These are all the super glittery ones, and then AC/DC, which I do love. I have that in another palette, but it's my least used purely because they're all really glittery and the fallout is just a bit of a... Next question, most used eyeshadow palette, and that would be, or palette in general, and that would be the Naked 2 from Urban Decay. This is kind of just self-explanatory really to anybody that owns this, but I just use this, I think, the most out of all of my palettes, purely because it's very easy to use. My favourite colours in it have to be Verve, Pistol and Suspect. These three colours here. I really, really like those. I don't tend to use Chopper. I do have that in another palette because it's glittery, and also I use Foxy all the time. It's a fabulous highlighting colour. Half Baked is beautiful as well. I like Snakebite. I really do. I think this is my most used palette just because it's very versatile and it's nice for every day. So the Naked 2 I think is my most used. Second to last question is most loved. Now this is impossible. It's completely impossible. I'm very, very loyal equally to all of my eyeshadow palettes, or at least I try to be, so most loved is a bit difficult. However, I think I would pick this one purely because of its size and because of the different array of colours that you get in it. This is the Urban Decay Ammo 2. I think this is just, it's a happy little palette. Every time I open it, it's just beautiful. You have, there aren't any matte colours in it, but I'm not big on mattes. Having said that though, I have done a tutorial on this look. If it's up, I'll link it down below. This is all matte, but generally speaking, not big on mattes. But there are some really nice neutrals in here. There's Sin, there's Chopper once again, Smog, Maui Wowie, which is a beautiful shade, Polyester Bride, and you've got Last Call, which is one of my favourite shades from Urban Decay. It's this kind of fuchsia-y, reddy purple. Really pretty colour, so I think that would probably be one of my favourites and my most loved, but just one of them because it's very, very difficult for me to choose. So that's the Ammo 2. And the last palette in the tag is Desert Island, so one that you would take to a desert island and it would kind of have everything you need in it. If I only take one, that's impossible, but I have narrowed it down, and I think a strong contender for that would probably be the Steal It in the Light palette. I adore this palette. I've had it years and it's still a trooper. It's still going strong. It is beautiful, really lovely. You get your mattes in there. You get, what's that, 4 mattes in there. A nice all over lid colour. This is Steal a Kitten. And then you have Gilded Gold, I believe this is at the top. Is it Kitten? No, I've said that? Yes, it is. Bliss, which is a beautiful transition colour. You've got a really nice red, which I just adore. That's called Sunset. You've just got everything in there, so I think it's a really strong contender, the Steal It in the Light palette, for a desert island must-have, because there's just everything that you could ever want in there, while still kind of catering to my shimmery side, because I don't tend to wear mattes. So Steal It in the Light absolutely would be a desert island must-have. So I hope you enjoyed that, guys. I hope it was helpful. I'll leave a list of the questions down below in the description box. If you want to do this tag, please feel free. I tag all of you. Hope you enjoyed that. If you've got any questions, leave me a comment down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye everyone.